Well.
Good evening, I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank those of you who have downloaded our news app, Beetroot News. Do take a look at it, download it, use it, and give us your feedback on what you think. We're here to bring you the latest development in the case of the wrestlers' protest against Brij Bhusan Sharan Singh, who remains the chief of the Wrestling Federation of India. Now, in a surprise development that has now taken place, the parent of the minor who accused Brij Bhusan Sharan Singh of sexual harassment, which led to a case under POCSO, which is Prevention of Crime of a Sexual Nature Against Children, what led to that very serious case being filed against him, has now reversed their statement. Now, basically, the girl's father has said that he's accepted that he had filed a fake case against Singh, and he had said that it's better to come clean now rather than do it inside of a court. When asked why he fabricated this case, the minor wrestler's father said that there was a match in which his daughter lost because of a particular decision of a referee that they were not happy with. And because the referee was part of the WFI and Brij Bhusan is the head of the WFI, they decided to take revenge against Brij Bhusan. The minor's father said he joined the protesting wrestlers because he felt he should support them, and nobody had approached him, and his daughter had not been sexually harassed by Brij Bhusan. These are the statements coming out right now. This has just been the most shocking case from beginning to end, where we've had world-class athletes sitting dharna at Jantar Mantar for over a month before the police dragged them out of there, unceremoniously asking for justice. The question that was raised by most of us was why Brij Bhusan Sharan Singh had not been arrested, in spite of the fact that there was a POCSO case that had been registered against him, because under POCSO, the accused is to be arrested immediately. Now, the fact that the POCSO portion of this case has been withdrawn means that the case is now substantially weakened from what it was earlier. Joining me at this point is Mr. Sharat Pradhan, very senior journalist who understands Uttar Pradesh perhaps better than anyone else I have spoken to. And since Brij Bhusan is a Bahubali from Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Pradhan perhaps understands him really well as
Absolutely.
well. Mr. Pradhan, explained to me, when you read this story this morning, like most of us did, that the father of the minor complainant had withdrawn the statement, what was your first reaction to it?
Well, it was very clearly evident. The first thing that came to my mind was ultimately Uttar Pradesh is a place where political clout and muscle power works more than anything else. Morality, norms, the law of the land, nothing. The muscle power and political clout prevails over every other thing. This was very, very, I mean, it is more than evident that the father of the girl and the girl have been pressurized, coerced, and unduly influenced by this man whose reputation is no less than the criminals whom you keep hearing about, whom you keep hearing every now and then, Mukhtar Ansari and Atiq Ahmed. Atiq Ahmed was gunned down, you know the whole story. So now this fellow, Brij Bhusan Sharan Singh, had 38 criminal cases against him, including that of murder, which in fact he had recently admitted in an interview that yes, I did commit a murder because that fellow had killed my friend. This is his statement. And he has, I am told, he is got away in most of these cases. And how? Simple as that. Just as he is getting away in this case, so it ought to have been in other cases, because people like Brij Bhusan Sharan Singh ensure there is nobody, no evidence remains against them. The witnesses are more often than not turned hostile for the simple reason that they've been intimidated. I mean, there is reason to believe that they are intimidated, as in this case as well, where the father of the girl, the manner in which he is cooking up this story of lodging a false case against Brij Bhusan is very obvious. And I don't blame the father or the poor girl, because this man enjoys the kind of clout and the kind of Bahubali that he is, a mafia don that he is capable of shutting down even far more influential people than this poor, helpless girl and the father. And you can see when the prime minister of the country is preferring to stand beside him rather than taking up the cause of those poor girls who have made specific, very, very categorical allegations of sexual harassment by this man. If you have seen anybody who has seen the FIR, which was, the only newspaper in the country that exposed the FIR, that went into details of the FIR, was Indian Express. And the kind of details that were given I mean, it is a blatant case of sexual harassment and sexual exploitation. Yet now it has been very systematically watered down because of this man's influence. And the prime minister did nothing. 4 months they have been agitating. And then on the day the new national parliament building was inaugurated, the manner in which, not unceremonious is an understatement. They were treated like dirt. The medal winners, Olympians. Mind you, Faye, in India's in Olympics 1 century or history, India has probably not got more than 50 medals all along in this history.
Yes.
And 2 of these medals
Two
are
medals
from,
were.
and yet they were treated like this. It's a shame. It has brought shame on the country. And obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if there is the government, the way the government has supported this man. I don't know for what reason. If the government bows down before mafia
So,
dons,
Mr. Pradhan, that was going to be my question to you. We've seen the highest offices, almost the highest offices, step in and intervene here. Mr. Amit Shah, the Home Minister, met with these wrestlers. We understand that there was no breakthrough. Then we had the Sports Minister, Anurag Thakur, meet with the wrestlers again. Nevertheless, Brij Bhusan, Sharat Singh has received almost unanimous support of the BJP. Everyone, including Mr. Rajnath Singh, saying that let the investigation complete and then we will take any action if we have to. He remains the chief of the WFI. He has not been removed from his position. He was invited inside of Parliament during the inauguration of that Parliament as well. Can you explain to us why you believe he is of this much importance and he has this much influence in a government that has pledged Beti Bachao as their campaign? Why would they support a man like this so much?
Well, BJP is adept in the art of preaching what it doesn't practice. So if they make claims about proclaim that they believe in BT Bachao, this is the reality. And all having said that, let me point out that the way this investigation began, first of all, there was no investigation carried out. Mind you, if the government was there and believed in Beti Bachao, then these poor girls would not have had to seek the Supreme Court's intervention to get a FIR lodged. Even a simple FIR, which every citizen of the country is entitled to have registered with the police, was not done until the Supreme Court ordered, which clearly shows the attitude of the government. And secondly, let me again tell you, even the process of the investigation which is being carried out now is clearly, it is very evident that people in the government are influencing that. Otherwise, how could India's sports minister make an announcement at a press conference that he will ensure that the charge sheet against this man will be filed by 15th of June? I mean, that's a very pertinent question, because the home minister, the sports minister of the country is not entitled to know how the process works, which means that he's influencing the police. And Amit Shah, I can understand, being the home minister, if he had said it, it was understandable. If the police commissioner had said it, it was understandable. But a sports minister is giving all kinds of assurances. It clearly shows that the whole government is supporting this man. But why is a $1 million question. A lot of people believe that this man has enough influence on at least 2-3 seats of the Lok Sabha in that region from where he comes. The place is called Gonda, and this is in heart of eastern UP,
Yes.
UP's most backward area, poverty-ridden area. And he has been winning elections simply because of being a Bahubali and nothing else. And he also has a lot of influence in Ayodhya. And so but that then arises the question that what does it mean? On one hand, the BJP claims that all the elections are fought and won in the name of Mr. Modi. Is Mr. Modi so weak in this part of Uttar Pradesh that he is bowing down before a lecherous man? I mean, there is a man who has all the wrong things. He is known for all the wrong things, and yet he wins, and the government supports him.
No, you said Bahubali from the UP political context. Would you explain to us what a Bahubali is?
Bahubali is in simple terms in English means a mafia don. Anybody who has the who doesn't have to care about law, because everybody supposed to be the guardians of law stand behind him, and he can bypass any law, he can override any law and get away with it. Anybody who has that kind of who has enjoys a lot of muscle power, to in fact all his wealth, he also has money power. He owns 2 helicopters, he owns a dozen horses, the way he lives, he has at least a dozen very high-end automobiles and endless property. He controls about 58 schools and colleges. Many of these schools and colleges were notorious for use of unfair means. All the wrong things. Yet, and so these are the kind of people who are called Bahubalis. Nothing happens to them. They get away with murder.
Mr. Pradhan, do you believe, and there's been some analysis of the fact that because the protesting wrestlers are from the state of Haryana, that this will make the BJP perhaps unpopular in the state of Haryana for the manner in which these wrestlers have been treated. Does the withdrawal of this complaint now reinforce Brij Bhushan's argument up till now that he was being framed with political motives by his political enemies?
Well, there is the BJP had all along been cooking up this story that this has something to do with the Congress, and because Huda in Haryana is the Congress leader, and he had this is the allegation against the Congress that he had got Brij Bhushan Singh framed. I mean, if somebody believes that, then he is belittling the allegations of these poor girls. I am not ready to accept that. It is a typical alibi being thrown by no less than people in the government. And mind you, this story is also there. Now, I don't think it is going to make the damage control has come in too late. It's a fact that people in Haryana are they are extremely angry over it. And, the Haryana people cannot tolerate anything happening against their girls, as they say, ki hamari beti. And so if Khattar, the chief minister of Haryana, took so long to convince the chief prime minister that the Haryana will be lost if no action is taken. So I think that either Mr. Modi on one hand thinks that because he is there, this is a too trivial a thing to affect his potential as a vote catcher in the next election. But anyhow, action has been finally initiated. I think it is more because of the international infamy that the Indian government was getting on account of this. The World Wrestling Federation had issued some warning that they would not allow Indian wrestlers to participate in international events with the Indian flag. And all along, even politically, the message that was going all across. But there is one more thing to it. I think, if I may not be wrong, that Mr. Modi never takes any action in matters where the opposition and the part of the media which is under their control, and obviously praises them for anything. They lap up anything. But wherever there is any critical, from any critical corner, there is his inaction is being condemned, or the opposition is making a big hue and cry over an issue, then Mr. Modi decides to lie low, which he did you remember the farmers' agitation. For months, he did not react. So this could also be another example. When megalomania is supreme, then these kind of actions follow. I mean, when you start treating everything else as trivial.
Mr. Pradhan, The Yogi Adityanath administration in Uttar Pradesh has said repeatedly that they are working very hard with the Uttar Pradesh police to remove what they're calling Gunda Raj in the state. I mean, we've seen the police take matters into the law into their own hands repeatedly in an attempt to clean up the state from Gunda Raj. But from what you tell me, the Bahubalis are part of the system. How do these two things reconcile for the people of Uttar Pradesh?
Well, as far as Yogi Adityanath's claim about transforming the law and order of Uttar Pradesh is concerned, let me tell you that it is much more a myth than a reality, because this is thanks to Mr. Yogi following script by script the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, because publicity is what matters to him as well. And he ensures that whatever the narratives is set by the UP government is lapped up by the mainstream media. So, and you know, the kind of money that is spent by the UP government on publicity means publicity of the chief minister in particular, is mind-boggling. You cannot even make a wild guess. It works out to about 3 to 4 crores a day. So if you are spending that kind of money on publicity, you are bound to compel people to believe what you want them to believe. So UP, and you can see even after there have been shootouts in court, there have been killing in police custody, not once, numbered repeatedly. This is the third time, the recent killing day before yesterday when in the Lucknow courtroom, a criminal who was being brought under trial to the court, he was gunned down inside the courtroom.
Yes.
The earlier incident was that of Atiq Ahmed, that other mafia don, who was
Yes.
brought, and the manner in which he was brought, that the way he was brought to the hospital, and he was gunned down with 30 policemen guarding him. And another incident, there was a lawyer in Allahabad who was killed allegedly by Atiq Ahmed's men while he was under the police cover. He had a couple of shadows and gunners guarding him. So if that is the kind of thing, that is the law and order that he's praising. Self-praise is fine, but there have to be some facts. Let me also point out one more small thing, that
yes,
according to the NCRB report, UP has witnessed about more than about 2,100 rapes, which works out to 2,100, or if I maybe the figure, but it works out to a rape every 6 hours. So if that is what they proclaim as great law and order, God alone save them.
But Mr. Pradhan, I remember in marketing class, we were taught that good advertising can sell a bad product only once. But once the customer uses it, they're never going to go back. But even at 3 or 4 crore rupees as a marketing budget per day, how would the people of Uttar Pradesh be fooled into believing that their real lives are not real? Because these are the lives they're leading. Yogi Adityanath remains an extremely popular chief minister who won that election by a whopping majority, in spite of everything you say. How is that possible?
Well said. You know, sometimes you break these norms and barriers by injecting an additional dose of something which people are not used to. And here it is the dose of Hindutva. The communal divide that they have been able to create is what makes people believe whatever they say. You know, it's everything that has been done is to aim at dividing people, dividing Hindus and Muslims. And the kind of narrative that has been set, thanks to the blind support of the mainstream media also, that everything bad, every ill that is happening is attributable to Muslims. This is how the scene is. I mean, people can see it themselves. So when that is the kind of color that one has given, the whole mindset changes. So you are ready to believe anything on those lines. And you are dismissing the reality by shutting your eyes to the truth.
I just want to offer a correction. I said withdrawal of a complaint. It's a fresh statement recorded, but not the withdrawal of complaint. POCSO doesn't allow one to withdraw a complaint. I'm just correcting that.
The court will have to accept that.
The court will have to accept the fresh statement. Mr. Pradhan, I know you have to leave. You did mention the mainstream media with specifics to the wrestler protest. What is your reaction to the manner in which mainstream television has handled the coverage of this protest?
Well, the mainstream television was hell bent on proving that these girls were wrong. You know, you can see you consistently, especially the famous anchors who are known to be, who are been some by very well, very aptly described by somebody as Godi media. They, any time that anything was happening on that front, they would go to town, you know, somehow directly or obliquely, only supporting Brij Bhusan Singh because he happens to be a representative of the ruling party. So there was, which is what they have been doing all along. The moment, even when this complaint was, initial reports came that the complaint was, the father is going to withdraw the POXO case. Oh my God! It seemed that they were going gaga over it. Some of the channels. I fail to understand what has happened. I mean, they don't have anything what we call conscience. So if and that is the reason that people like this, and even a government which is supporting a man like this, gets away, because media is there to lap up anything and everything they want, they want to be set as a narrative. It is very unfortunate. I had never imagined in my life, in my 45 years of journalism, that media would stoop down so low.
Mr. Pradhan, thank you so much for giving me your time. I know you have a very busy evening, and I appreciate you giving us your time. On that note of the media being unreliable in India, I just want to remind our viewers we have launched a new app. It's called the Beetroot News app, where we give you the news without any sort of opinion, any sort of outrage, not leading you in any direction, but just telling you what has happened. It's our digital equivalent of the news that you have to read every day. Do download our app in the beta version and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching.